Welcome back. Good to have you with us here at 5:30. Jim Scott along with Tammy Melchuk in the 17 News Center. It is a painkiller so potent just touching it could bring you to your knees. It's fentanyl. And all this week, 17 News is exploring the growing threat it represents. Fentanyl, a highly addictive, highly lethal pain medication, has ravaged dozens of Kern County families, including at least one, as you will see tonight, more than once. First formulated as a miracle anesthesia, fentanyl is increasingly showing up around the country and right here at home in a deadly street version.
17's Robert Price has been exploring this growing danger, and tonight in part 3, he explores why we're suddenly seeing such a prevalence of fentanyl, the counterfeit killer.
Fentanyl was a problem before the pandemic.
They're selling death.
Straight fentanyl.
He was laying right there on the bed.
Will they kill you? Sure.
This should not have happened.
And it happened to me.
And he was trying to do CPR on him.
We see it more and more.
She was a good kid, but she tried to self-medicate.
There's nothing else you can do, and they said no.
There's ways you can die.
People who are dying from overdoses of fentanyl.
I can't treat you once you're dead.
Killing our children.
We have to, as a community, figure this out.
There's a pandemic out there of a type not associated with any kind of virus. Vaccines, social distancing, mask mandates, they're of no value. This is strictly a man-made pandemic, and it's built on profit, addiction, and deception. The agent of death in this pandemic is fentanyl, a synthetic opioid 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says it killed 81,000 Americans between May 2019 and May 2020. In 2020, fentanyl, in combination with other drugs and by itself, killed, according to the coroner's office, at least 125 people in Kern County. That's 2.5 fentanyl overdose deaths per week countywide, 10 a month, throughout a year in which almost all the headlines were devoted to another killer, COVID-19. Perhaps you've heard of fentanyl. Perhaps you recognize it as the poison that killed musicians Prince in 2016 and Tom Petty in 2017, and very nearly killed Demi Lovato in 2018. That makes fentanyl old news, right? Except it's not. It's here now, in Kern County, still, and it's worse than ever. And if it becomes as prevalent here as it is in the northeastern United States, it will get worse still. Last year, 10 western states reported a near doubling of deaths from synthetic opioids, primarily fentanyl, from the previous year. And deaths from fentanyl have only accelerated since then. Illegal pill seizures, one major indicator of the depth of the problem, are way up. The Kern County Sheriff's Department, to name one agency involved in the fight against fentanyl, seized 7,800 pills in 2019. In 2020, it seized 65,000, an 8-fold increase. Through the first 19 weeks of 2021, the KCSO already has seized more than 70,000 pills, putting it on track to confiscate 190,000, nearly triple 2020's haul. And that number doesn't include the confiscations from a pair of March 26th raids by a multi-jurisdictional task force led by the Federal Department of Homeland Security that resulted in 9 arrests and the seizure of more than 380 pounds of methamphetamine and 8 pounds of fentanyl, the equivalent of 30,000 counterfeit oxy pills. And when seizures rise, deaths do too. Fatal fentanyl overdoses have visited every state and virtually every city, including Bakersfield.
Both my sons died the same way.
In March of last year, Dan Hart lost his 28-year-old son, Dylan. Found him unresponsive in his room. Called 911. It was too late. 9 months later, in December, 4 days after Christmas, incredibly, Hart lost his other son, 23-year-old Cameron. He found Cameron unresponsive in his room. He called 911, and again, it was too late. 2 sons, same year, same drug. Cameron's COVID-delayed funeral was February 2nd. 30 friends attended. Several spoke of his irreverent wit, his love of life, his ability to brighten a room. Dimitri Martveld was his best friend.
Cam could take anyone sad and turn their day completely around within 30 seconds.
They also spoke of the insidious omnipresence of the drug that took Cameron Hart, and in recent years, others in their group of friends. Cameron's friend Matthew Hanisch used his time at the podium to deliver a message.
Well, basically, I just asked everyone to stop doing these drugs. Like, we lost one of my best friends, someone I'm never gonna get back again. Like, someone that could never be replaced. You understand? And his brother died the same way, through the same drug dealer, bought the same drugs.
This is Cameron's father, Danny Hart.
They're selling death out there, and it happens so fast. I've met so many mothers recently that are going through the same thing. It's just mind-boggling how many it's happened to you. How many people got up there and spoke of other friends of Cameron's that died the same way. I just want to see a stop to it. They're selling death.
Martfeld said he had a drug problem too, but got sober 4 years ago and was pushing his best friend to do the same. Cameron told Martfeld's mother he was ready to take that step.
That's what he told me. This is my Christmas gift to you. I'm going to get sober. And he hugged me, and I hugged him, and I said, oh, I hope so, Cameron.
Cameron died 5 days later before he could deliver on that promise.
But what he was doing was trying to get into a rehab. He kept crying to me like a week before this happened, saying he knows he's going to die if he doesn't get help. They would take him, they would get back to him by New Year's. They said they would probably have him in by New Year's. And he didn't make it that far.
Another life lost to fentanyl, another family devastated. This one, twice. With one new fentanyl overdose death every 3 days last year in Kern County, maybe the odds of it taking two brothers weren't as astronomical as it might have seemed. Not with a drug as popular, plentiful, and deadly as fentanyl. An incredibly minuscule dose can be fatal. The toxicity of most opioids, drugs like heroin, are measured in milligrams. Fentanyl is so potent, it's sometimes measured in micrograms, 1/1000th of a milligram. And 700 micrograms, about the size of a single grain of salt, can be fatal. This kilo brick of seized fentanyl is enough to kill every man, woman, and child in Bakersfield. Merely touching it can cause, and has caused, a medical emergency. That's why law enforcement officers are required to take special precautions when they handle it. Masks, double gloves. It's so toxic, even the slightest absorption to the skin can cause someone to pass out. Look what it did to this police officer handling seized fentanyl in Bartlesville, Oklahoma last year. He recovered. Bakersfield Police Detective Peter Bigley, who we can't show here because of the undercover nature of his job, says fentanyl's toxicity is matched only by its profitability.
If they buy a kilo of fentanyl, they're able to turn that into $10 to $20 million off of that 1 kilo.
When it's taken in combination with another opioid like heroin or oxycodone, as is often the case with illicitly manufactured counterfeit pills, even the tiniest dose of fentanyl can be fatal. And you can buy some right now, today, on social media platforms like Snapchat, from your friendly neighborhood drug dealer.
So on social media, they'll post what would be kind of their menu. They're pretty blatant about it.
Hey, look at these great deals, like one of those supermarket circulars you get in your mailbox, except this is on your phone, or your kid's phone. We're sharing these painful stories because fentanyl, a chemical cousin of heroin and opium, has arrived in Kern County with widespread ruthlessness. And Kern County families are not prepared. They don't know what it is, where their family members are getting it, or what it can do to them. Families need to grasp the unforgiving finality of a fentanyl overdose now, not after it hits home. Next, the manufacturing process and why there's so much danger associated with the drug. What constitutes a bad batch, and what's in it that's proving so deadly? I'll tell you when I take another look at fentanyl, the counterfeit killer. For 17 News, Robert Price.
And once again, that piece produced by 17's Steve Womack. Now, if you know someone who could use help with fentanyl or some other drug in terms of recovery or support, there are options for you.
You can call the Kern Behavioral Health and Recovery Services hotline at 1-800-991-5272 or the National Substance Abuse Helpline at 1-800-662-HELP or 4357. We also know of 2 local Facebook options, stepsofchange.org and Missing a Piece of My Heart substance support group. You can log on to onedoorrecovery.org, which offers addiction treatment services, or bakersfieldrecoveryservices.com, which we should note is offering free 2 packs of Narcan and nasal spray that can bring someone back from an opioid overdose. You can find them online. You can also purchase Narcan, the brand name for naloxone, in a 2-pack for $60.
And we are joined now by 17's Robert Price. Bob, what else do people need to know if someone close to them is trying to kick this habit?
Well, Tammy just named some of them. There's a range of others depending on the severity of the situation. In most serious cases, residential treatment, which is basically inpatient care. That's for the most serious. We've got detox and partial hospitalization. You'll want a facility like Synergy for something like that. Then there's intensive outpatient. Facilities like Aspire are among the choices in those cases. And then there's sober living arrangements that you can turn to, such as Jason's Retreat, Amethyst, or Third Tradition. An internet search will reveal a whole bunch of options in that department. And finally, you've got Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous.
And this certainly has been an eye-opening series and so many stories of heartbreaks. And I know you're just touching the surface. What can we expect tomorrow?
Well, Tammy, tomorrow we will meet the youngest of the recent fatals, and that is the fun-loving 18-year-old Katie Kokenauer. Her story, I think, will really touch some hearts.
Yeah.
All right. Bob, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow night. And we're back with Alyssa and a look at your forecast after the break.